For you every like 3 or 4 months, and eventually I'm going to get really good at it. I love it. I just love it. Okay, so for the prelude and the postlude, this is from Bruce Hornsby, and it's just called Song D. He's playing around with music tonality, and it's just kind of cute and sweet, but you'll hear that.
Good Sunday morning to you. It is lovely seeing y'all here. Welcome. On a morning when we woke up to a light, we lost an hour of sleep. We had a light dusting. So I've seen cities in the South shut down over a light dusting of snow. So the fact that you're here is something I'm very grateful for. Also thankful for those of you who are online watching us there. If you're online, you can follow that QR code that's probably above my head there to make a donation so we can keep doing an online broadcast, or to find out more about us. There's plenty of places you can go once you follow that link. And for those of us here, a reminder in the back of the church, you'll have on the table the offering basket. We won't be passing that around today. And there's also a taco truck back there, but I'm not going to steal anyone's thunder. They'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. So today's theme is going to be looking at spirituality and music. And so I have two readings related to that. The first one is a scripture that I want to share with you. It comes from Psalms chapter 98, verses 4 through 8, and it says this: "Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Break forth into joyous song and sing praises. Sing praises to the Lord with the lyre and the sound of melody. With trumpets and with the sound of horn, make a joyful noise before the King, the Lord. Let the sea roar and all that fills it, the world and those who live in it. Let the floods clap their hands. Let the hills sing together for joy. My second reading is going to come from Martin Luther, who is frequently referred to as the father of the Protestant movement. And he wrote this in a foreword to George Rawls' collection of symphonies. And he had this, the person who began Protestantism, had this to say about music. A person who does not regard music as a marvelous creation of God must be a clodhopper. Indeed, he does not deserve to be called a human being. He should be permitted to hear nothing but the braying of asses and the grunting of hogs. This from Martin Luther.
I'm gonna try to do this little song. Carrie Grossman created. So I found this as spiritual. She says about this. She says this: when I first got my harmonium, I put a note on top with these two beautiful lines from Rumi. After several months, I heard a melody and began to sing the words, which so eloquently express the essence of the bhakti path. Bhakti is about falling in love with the sacred presence that hides in every single thing. No matter what form our journey may take, when we enter the secret cavern of the heart, the brittle shell of separation softens and we taste the sweetness of our essential nature. This song is called Touch the Sky. It's not a lot of lyrics to this song, or chords actually, but it's definitely spiritually inspired. At the very end, she sings. It's the Sikh language, Ram Hari Ram Hari. You may have heard that before. It kind of was used in that apparently Hare Krishna movement and whatnot. And what I discovered is Hari means the divine feminine potency of God, and Ram is the reservoir of all pleasure and happiness. So apparently that translates to, I'm not sure how this works, but it says so. O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So apparently that's what this is about. There is no salvation for the soul, but to fall in love. Fall in love. Fall in love. Fall in love. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Oh, fly, beloved, fly. Oh, fly, beloved, fly. Oh, fly, fly, beloved, fly. Oh, fly, fly, beloved, fly. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. Only from the heart can you touch the sky. From the heart can you touch the sky. Oh, fly, beloved, fly. Fly, beloved, fly. Oh, fly, fly, beloved, fly. Fly, fly, beloved, fly. Run, hurry, run, hurry, run. Run, hurry, run, hurry, run. Run, hurry, run, run, hurry, run. Run, hurry, run, run, hurry, run. There is no salvation for the soul, but to fall in love.
Of course, for those of you who are gathered here after we finish our broadcast, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions or give your thoughts on today's theme and message, the music as well. For folks who are watching online, we encourage you to do that in the comment section. I always try to, in the next several hours, get back to you and respond there as well. And also, if you're online, if you leave where you're watching from, it's always great to know who all has gathered us. As I said, our theme today is looking at spirituality and music together. And the title of my message is In the Key of Life. So listening to music, singing, leading others in singing, composing, performing, they can calm us, excite us, entertain us, teach us, inspire us, ground us, shelter us. They can do all kinds of things that help us understand ourselves and our relationships and our spirituality. You see, music provides important opportunities for spiritual development, and that's a reality that's not escaped most organized religions. Almost all organized forms of religion use music as part of their structure when they gather. Whether singing or playing, chanting, drumming, or simply calling the worship to order, they all seem to recognize that music has an important connection to spirituality. When words can't quite do the job, music frequently is there to help us along, to provide a platform outside of the sometimes limiting confines of speech. What makes music spiritual? The truth is, music seems to transcend all types of religion. Some would even say that music and spirituality do not need to be seen as all that different from each other. They are, in fact, of the same essence. Music is the sound of our spirits. Music undeniably impacts our lives in incredibly deep ways. And there's actually good reasons that it does. You see, A study from several years back out of the Montreal Neurological Institute and Hospital tells us that good music, which is mostly subjective, whether you think it or not, good music causes our brain to release dopamine in the same way it does when you have an exceptionally good meal, exercise, have a romantic relationship, meditate, achieve a difficult goal, or have a religious experience. It should not be surprising then that music can have a deeply impactful influence on whatever area of your life that it is applied to. The title of my message today is actually a small homage to one of my favorite musicians, Stevie Wonder. It's meant to kind of recall his 1978 album entitled Songs in the Key of Life. But I want to talk about a song briefly that he wrote shortly after that album. At a 1981 concert in Detroit, right next to the river that marked the end of the Underground Railroad and Passage to Freedom, Stevie Wonder introduced a new song. It was part of the movement to make Dr. King's birthday a national holiday. He had written a happy birthday song to Martin Luther King. And for his encore that night, Stevie had the audience, all 20,000 of them, sing along at the top of their lungs as they marched together hand in hand into the streets of Detroit. And they sang together, "The time is overdue for people like me and you who know the way to truth is love and unity to all God's children. It should be a great event, and the whole day should be spent in full remembrance of those who lived and died for the oneness of all people. So let us all begin. We know that love can win. Let it out and don't hold it in. Sing it loud as you can." The song actually briefly became a global hit and an anthem for the fight to make it that holiday a reality. The music connected with people in a way that the words had not been able to up until that point. And then in 1986, MLK's Holiday was signed in by Ronald Reagan almost 20 years after his assassination. And of course, Stevie headlined the commencement concert celebrating the first official MLK Day, and he sang out saying, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Considering the connection it has to spirituality, the way it impacts us physically, the way it reaches over boundaries and pulls people together, it should be of little surprise that music has traditionally played a very key role in most human rights movements. As Nelson Mandela once said, "It is music and dancing that make me at peace with the world." I also like what Plato has to say about music. He said, "Music is a moral law. It gives soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and charm and gaiety to life and to everything." As I said earlier, it seems to me that music at its essence is the sound of our spirit. And I'll leave you to define what spirit means for yourself. When music is, thanks, Siri. When music is created from the heart and with truth and pure intention, it is a spiritual expression of the highest universal order. Whatever meaning of spirituality you go with, it would seem that there is a direct and clear connection to the very nature of music. I would argue that throughout human history, music has been indispensable in human life and has been an undeniable element in our development, both as individuals and as a species. Be it our breath, the waves of the ocean, the peeps of newborn chicks, or the cosmic microwave background of the universe which echoes of creation itself, life has a rhythm. And like all of those things, music has a rhythm, a tension, and a release. I'm not claiming that all music is spiritual, only that it can be. Music is one of our most powerful ways to speak to and about the Spirit within us, the divine within each of us. It connects us to the smallest, most fragile elements of life and to the universe itself. Perhaps most importantly, it connects us to each other, and it encourages us to see the divine in others as well. Music has the ability to almost instantly to take us to different places and different times and memories. And in a matter of notes, it can shift our entire emotional experience and outlook. In its purest form, it takes us on a journey beyond the limits of our intellect and our physical body to a higher state of being and experiencing. Music is transforming, and so is spirituality. After all, spirituality is in part about a journey of transformations towards our better selves. And as we see in human rights campaigns, music can move us to mindsets that are less directed by the judgments and doubts and fears that all too frequently lead us to hurt others. Healthy spirituality, I would argue, does the same thing. This is a really neat piece of how music fits into a group of people's lives. In the Himba tribe in Africa, when a woman knows that she is pregnant, she goes into the wilderness with friends and they pray and meditate together until they hear the song of the child within her. They recognize that life. Life has a rhythm. From our very heartbeats to our laughter and our cries, every soul has its own rhythm, its own vibration, its own unique expression of life and purpose. And once the women hone in on that song of the child, they sing it out loud. Then they go back. They go back to the tribe and they teach the whole tribe that child's unique song. Once the child is born, the whole village gathers around and sings the child's song to him or her. And then later in life, when the child begins their first day of school, the people gather around again to sing the child's song to them. And it happens again when the child becomes an adult. And when they get married, it happens yet again. And then finally, at each death in the village, family and friends gather at the deathbed just as they did at birth. And they sing that person's song to usher them along to what is next. There's actually one other time. One other time the tribe will gather and sing a person's song. At first it seems a bit surprising, but quickly it becomes clear that it may be one of the most important times. When a person commits a crime or even an unacceptable social act, they are made to stand in center of a circle formed by all members of the tribe, and once again, the villagers sing that person's song. For the Himba, correction of behavior that hurts the community isn't punishment, but rather it is a loving reminder of who you are and how much you matter to the community. In many ways, one of the most important goals of spirituality is to reconnect us with who we truly are. And with it comes the recognition that who we truly are is all tied up in and beautifully entangled with who others are. It seems to me the practice of this tribe gives us a little insight into how important music can be in our spiritual process. As Beethoven once put it, music is the mediator between the spiritual and the sensual life. Music is one of our most powerful ways to speak to the spirit within us, the divine in each of us. It connects us to the smallest, most fragile elements of life and to the universe itself. Perhaps, most importantly, it connects us to each other and encourages us to see the divine in others. So, let your life sing, soak in the music, music in the key of life. And now, let's take some time in musical meditation and connect with the Spirit, the divine, within us and within each other.
Mark asked me to explain why I think this song is spiritual to me. So this little testimony here. I come from a family of all girls. I have 2 sisters. We're all girls. 6 cousins on my mom's side, all girls. My sister had 2 girls, all girls. My son Noah is the first boy. I got married when I was 23 to a man 11 years older than me with serious intimacy issues. It was a real miracle I even got pregnant. Remember, he had intimacy issues. But I knew. The moment he was conceived, I knew. When I found out I was having a boy, I was kind of freaked out. Wasn't sure I knew how to raise a little boy, but I could not wait to meet him. Had a scheduled C-section on my 28th birthday, curled my hair, put on my face, had severe separation anxiety. I had gotten so comfortable having him with me all the time. It was that evening, waking up in the hospital room, when we were told that Noah had achondroplasia. He was going to be short. All I knew is that immediately I felt scared for him and fell so unconditionally, deeply in love with him. But to me, he was the most perfectly shaped, angelic cherub of a baby. Other babies look like frogs. Noah was perfect. I talked to him nonstop, read him classic novels while nursing him, took him to kinder music at age 2, joined a mom's club so he'd have friends to play with, Chuck E. Cheese, the Children's Museum, brought him to every rehearsal of every theater thing I was doing. I've got a picture of him sleeping on top of a piano at A&T during the summer camp he helped me lead. He played Toodles in CTG's production of Peter Pan at the Carolina Theater. Then right after that, at age 9, he had a back surgery that left him paralyzed for a year. A month of inpatient physical and occupational therapy in Charlotte. His dad and I trading back and forth trips on I-85. He would run around after school in his motorized wheelchair and spray homemade stink spray at his friends at Peeler Elementary School. At Christmas, he did a musical with me at the Broach Theater, the Christmas version of Nonsense. He would use his walker to stomp on the nuns' feet in order to get them off stage so my character could run on stage and play the saxophone. He did the choreography by kicking his feet under his walker. He stole the show. A few months later, a pediatric urologist told us that Noah would never pee on his own again. He had been self-catheterizing. I told that doctor, don't ever say something like that in front of my son. You do not know him. A week later, Noah was peeing on his own. A year later, he was walking again, but the rods that were screwed into his spine had to be removed because they were poking through his skin. From age 10 to 16, Noah was cooking. Music and theater in school in Greensboro and Winston, doing magic shows for summer camp kids at the Carolina Theater every summer at Castle McCullough. He directed a play at Lincoln Middle alongside his teacher, got into the theater department at Weaver, where his teachers considered him a collaborator, even more than a student. And he's always been very clear, I will not ever play a role where I'm expected to be cute. He told his Weaver director that upon his audition into the program. At age 16, we learned that Noah's back had become severely deformed and needed surgical intervention. We had been taking him for x-rays and appointments every 6 months since he was 10, and this was the first time we were told that there was a problem. He was scheduled to have a surgery at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, a surgery that would not straighten his back, but preserve it in its present deformed state. But I was not willing to accept this. I got online and got into a chat group with other women and other moms who had kids with skeletal dysplasia, and those moms implored me to see Dr. McKenzie in Wilmington, Delaware. I sent all of Noah's x-rays and a pile of pictures of Noah in the many Halloween costumes I made him over the years and sent it all to Wilmington. I got a call on my cell a week later from Dr. McKenzie's nurse who said, Stephanie, I think we can help your son. And I cried. So, what nurse says that? So Noah and I traveled to Wilmington to meet Dr. McKenzie, who knew all about Noah and his 9-year-old paralysis. He's the head of the medical advisory board for the Little People of America and People Talk. He told us that he could completely straighten Noah's back, but there might be a little risk due to scarring of the spine because of his other paralysis. But Noah ultimately decided to risk Dr. McKenzie's surgery, so I called Johns Hopkins and canceled. That year, his junior year in high school, Noah made the dragon for Weaver's production of Shrek. That dragon has been sent all over the East Coast. He designed it, got me and his dad and some of his school artist friends to help. It was Noah's design and strict supervision. I raised money to have a dragon event at the Carolina Theater so that we could have a video he could use to apply to college. I shouted out on Facebook. Got a bunch of people, college professors, my professional buds to play in the pit, my community theater friends to sing in the pit, his puppeteers from Weaver, and the kids who played the donkey and the dragon boys. They all came through. And a bunch of people showed up just to cheer. 3 photographers showed up to take pictures for free. And those pictures got him into the University of Connecticut. The day after that event, we traveled to Delaware for his 13-hour back reconstruction surgery, May of 2014. Quick story. I used to always misplace my keys, which drove Noah absolutely crazy. The morning of his surgery, I couldn't find my keys, but my parents were with us and drove us across the street to the hospital. At the end of a very stressful day for me, 13 hours in surgery for Noah. When he woke up in the recovery room, top of his mind was checking to make sure he could feel his legs. The first thing he said when he was coming out of anesthesia was, "Mom, did you find your keys?" That's my son. Noah's back was perfect. He gained an inch of height also, and despite his doctor having serious doubts that his bladder and bowels would return to healthier function, I believed otherwise, and I was right again. Noah played Uncle Fester his senior year at Weaver, and the Addams family built all the magic and a counterweight system that got Uncle Fester into the air to dance and sing a love song with the moon. He learned to play the ukulele. He graduated from the University of Connecticut in 2019 with a BFA in puppet arts and is currently building puppets for a music video. The second one he's done with this particular band. Last year he traveled Europe for 3.5 months by himself. I've had a very difficult time with my family and my ex-husband, a lot of really ugly, hurtful stuff for a very long time. Some rather unimaginable ugly stuff. The adult version of Noah has helped create peace in my family. He and I just won't talk bad about each other. We're close, and they see how we are. They see who he is. They love him like crazy and give me credit for his awesomeness. I've been a single mother since Noah was 4 years old, battling his father. If I'd stayed with his father, he would have locked me in a room. He was already trying to do that. Noah knows he is loved, really loved, by his mom and his dad. He thanks me for divorcing his dad. He understands, he really understands. He is my hero. He's my best friend. He's my anchor. He's the love of my life. There's no way in the world that I could have imagined that the child I would give birth to would be the child that I watched with amusement and joy, and the man I would admire and trust and love more than any imaginable possible sort of love. I am constantly in awe, complete and unadulterated awe. Through my struggles, some extremely intense and painful years of financial instability and stress, I could care less about my credit score or bullying from people in my family. None of that matters at all. Not compared to Noah. I've always told him, I don't just love you more than anything in the world, I love you more than everything. This intense love, this awe, this amazement and wonder, and deep gratitude, to me that's God. Noah's pure and simple existence. And the woman in this song knows exactly what I mean. If I can sing it. Everything's gonna be all right, she whispers to herself. She was only 6 years old that night as she hid behind that shelf, 'cause Daddy had a little too much to drink, and Mama didn't want her to feel the pain she felt, but she still felt the pain. Well, 10 years they came and went, and Dad was gone, so she looked for love in other men and tried to act strong. Oh, broken hearts and scars, and only places she could see, 'cause she just wanted to feel something. And as she sat there on her bed, thinking about what those girls said, tears streamed from her eyes. She cried, if there's a God out there, please hear my prayer. I'm lost and I'm scared, and I've got nowhere else to go. Come a long, long way, but I'm not sure I can make it much farther. So if you're listening, would you give a helping hand to your daughter? Well, her path started to change. She reached out and grabbed God's grace, and finally she saw the light. Until that night when she decided one drink was alright, and one thing led to another. The next thing you know, 9 months go by, she's a mother. As she lay there in that bed, stroking that small angel's head, tears streamed from her eyes. She cried, if there's a God out there, please hear my prayer. I'm lost and I'm scared, and I've got nowhere else to run. I've come a long, long way, but I'm not sure I can be the best mother. So if you're listening, could you give a helping hand to your daughter? Well, that baby grew into a boy who became her pride and joy. She loved her like he loved her, like no man could. And her heart felt peace, 'cause she finally understood God's love. So as she lay there in that bed, 99 years old, she grabbed her son's hand and said, there's something you must know. There is a God out there. I can't hardly say this. Who heard my prayer? I was lost and afraid, and I had nowhere else to go. I had no clue what to do. I tried to sing it. And then he sent me you. So if you're lost and afraid, and you feel so alone, don't worry, child, 'cause there's a Father who will love you as his own. Just like he loved his daughter, like he loved his daughter. Can't sing without crying. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing your story. If after what she's shared and sang for us, you don't get the connection between music and our very spirits, our spirituality, I'm not sure how to help. Thank you. Let's take a moment and turn in. We can bow our heads together. We are thankful for the music all around us. Each morning we hear it from the moment we open our ears. The low notes of wind around the eaves, the whoosh of the water as it comes from the tap, the glug glug as it drains, the throaty whistle of the boiling kettle, the metallic tap of the spoon against the cup, the jazz percussion of our feet on the steps. We are thankful for the music of life. We think of and hold in our hearts all who sing a sad song today, the grieving, the lonely, the lost. We think of and hold in our hearts those who have lost their voice and feel silenced or oppressed. There are many singing freedom songs around the world, and today we long for the safety of these singers. May their songs have the strength to convince and convert those who oppress others. We are thankful for the music of life. May we learn to hear more clearly the music and rhythms of life. And may we open ourselves more fully to the ways music connects us with the divine and inspires us towards lives more connected with each other. We are thankful for the music of life. Amen. Receive this blessing. May you walk in harmony with each other and with creation, recognizing that we are one. And may you know love and happiness throughout your life, and may your words and actions bring that love and happiness to all that you meet.